Everyone on the flight believed this day would be ordinary. Just another trip, just another seat, just another passenger. But among them was a black woman with a power no one could see. She carried herself with calm confidence, yet the flight attendant's hateful stare followed her every move, ignoring her, mistreating her, reducing her to nothing, until a single shocking moment shattered the silence of the cabin. A slap so loud that it exposed a truth the airline could no longer hide. What happens when racism strikes the wrong person? Watch until the end to find out. Wait a second, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Before stepping onto that plane, she had conquered every wall that society had built around her. She had risen from a young, ambitious girl who people constantly underestimated to becoming the CEO and owner of a major airline. She first took control of the skies as a pilot, then of the company as its visionary leader. Her mission was simple yet revolutionary. Create an airline where every passenger, no matter their race or background, felt valued. But success could not fully shield her from discrimination. Even after her achievements, she still encountered suspicious looks in stores, employees doubting her authority, and service workers treating her as if she didn't deserve respect. She understood that for women like her, even victory still came with invisible battles. She chose to fly as a regular passenger that day, no first-class privilege, no attention. Just a quiet inspection of how her airline treated people. She hoped to see kindness. Instead, she saw the truth. The moment she boarded, she felt a familiar tension, the kind that tells you someone is judging you without a word. The flight attendant responsible for her section stared at her with a coldness that cut through the cabin air. Every request she made, however simple, was met with irritation. She watched as passengers around her were treated with smiles and warmth, while she received nothing but neglect. She tried to remain calm. She took slow breaths. But the harassment continued. Small, sharp acts meant to make her feel unwelcome. The attendant brushed past her seat aggressively, rolled her eyes when the CEO slowly buckled her seatbelt, and ignored her when she politely gestured for help with a misplaced overhead bag. All while others were treated like honored guests as takeoff approached. She knew what was happening wasn't poor service. It was racism, a sickness she had seen far too often. When the plane hit turbulence, panic spread. Luggage above shifted violently. The CEO noticed a bag dangerously close to falling onto the older woman beside her. Instinct took over. She stood slightly to the side to avoid an accident. That's when the flight attendant snapped. Without regard for safety, she rushed toward the CEO like a storm fueled by hatred. Her face twisted with rage, and she closed the distance quickly. Then, before anyone could react, she slapped the CEO hard across the face. Gasps exploded across the plane. Phones lifted to record. The stinging pain spread across the CEO's cheek, but more profound than the slap was the realization. Some people would rather strike you down than accept that you deserve respect. The cabin fell silent. The world seemed to pause. Everyone now waited to see what the black woman would do. The CEO slowly rose to her feet. She wasn't trembling. She wasn't crying. She was controlled, powerful in her silence. Her restraint spoke louder than rage ever could. Passengers watched, recording every second, stunned by the audacity of what had just taken place. The flight attendant's hateful expression shifted to horror as a manager rushed down the aisle to see what caused the chaos. Recognition hit him like a shockwave. He knew her face from leadership meetings, from magazine covers hanging proudly at corporate headquarters, from the very documents that signed his paychecks. She was the owner, the creator, the highest authority in the airline. And in that moment, cameras captured not only the slap, but the collapse of a racist assumption. The hunter had just discovered she had struck the queen. The plane returned to the gate. Authorities boarded. Reports were taken. The attendant, shaking, was removed from duty and later fired. The airline issued a public apology, not only for the slap, but for the prejudice that had fueled it. The CEO, still calm, refused to turn this into a personal victory. She turned it into reform, mandatory anti-racism training, accountability for mistreatment. A clear message: discrimination would no longer fly under her wings. Her cheek healed, but the lesson remained engraved in history. Racism doesn't disappear because someone becomes successful. Even at 30,000 feet, bias can rise higher than the plane itself. Until the world confronts its prejudice, every flight, every store, every moment can become a battlefield. So tell me, how many more stories like this must happen before humanity finally learns to see each other as equals? Comment below. Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.